Minnesota Twins win their 6th in a row tonight in walk-off fashion. We're breaking it all down. It's coming up next on the Locked On Twins POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Twins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Minnesota on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up? What's up? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Minnesota Twins POSTCAST episode right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. You got myself, Luke Inman, at Luke_Spinman. That's the man, Sweet Lou Hennesey, Twins expert over at Zone Coverage MN. He's on X at Sweet Lou MN. And Lou, before we jump into all the action from tonight, quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Okay, man. Twins versus Rays, game 1 of 3. Twins on this 5-game win streak coming into tonight. They had won 7 of their last 8. Pablo on the mound, another tough outing for him. 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned, 3-run bomb in the first to put the Twins in a big hole early on. More on him here in a minute, but bottom 4, down 4, bases juiced. Willie Castro clears the bases with a triple into the right field corner, makes it 4-3. Then came the rain, man. This had to be the longest game, start to finish, this entire season. Almost 5 hours, all said and done. The rain came end of the 4th, early 5th. We'll talk forecast here come segment 3 as well, because plenty of rain on the horizon for the next 2 home games as well. But long delay. They finally clear the tarps, pick back up around 9:25, 9:30 p.m. Twins down 1. Rays hit another solo shot to go up 2. Twins come right back, though. Bottom 5, Kepler with his 6th homer of the year. Jeffers knocks in Correa on a sac fly, tied back up at 6 apiece. So back and forth, bottom 9, here we go. Carlos Santana, pinch hitting for Miranda, 2 on. He delivers the game-winning walk-off hit. That scores Margot. Twins win their 6th in a row, 8 of their last 9. They moved to 40-32 on the year. Again, let's talk Pablo here in a second. But first, as always, biggest takeaways, kind of your 8 topics from game 1 versus Tampa.
My goodness, this is one that they're definitely happy to get a W out of. It's a soggy W, but they're definitely happy to get it. You know, they used so many arms, and you could tell that they were just exhausted by the end of it there. So really nice that they were able to get the game completed and that it ended with a win. A lot of guys stepping up. I liked seeing some of the left-handed hitters stepping up in the wake of some of the recent demotions. I think that's really important and really shown through today with Max Kepler getting a huge home run that didn't tie the game, but it brought it within 1. And that's kind of been the MO of this offense over the last couple of weeks, just chipping away, and then breaking through. So it was good to see again.
Yeah, how great is it to score 7 runs, get the dub on a night when Royce Lewis, right, the man on fire, one of your go-to studs, goes 0 for 5 on the night too. How great is that? So let's get kind of the bad news out of the way first, I guess. Unpack Pablo's day, right? Okay, 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned, 1 walk, 3 Ks, gives up again that 3-run homer in the first inning, only makes it through 54 pitches on the night. What stuck out the most tonight with this game? And where exactly are we at with the Pablo Lopez experience now? It's June 18th. It feels like every outing, we're just hoping this is the night, this is the game, this is the start. He turns it back on. But at a certain point, when do you stop holding your breath, man? What's going on here? Twins need their stud ace back, don't they?
That's a really good point, and I really want to hear what he has to say to the beat after the game here. You know, this is a collection of games where he's had really strong kind of raw peripheral numbers on his pitches that he just is not executing properly, and then they get hit out of the park. The long balls, I want to say that he leads all of baseball, or at least all of qualified pitchers in home runs allowed so far this year. So definitely concerning, especially when you see a game like tonight where didn't have as sharp as stuff either. You know, it's what was it, 3 Ks?
3 Ks, 1 walk. Yeah.
That's, probably expecting a little bit more from him here. But like I said, I'd love to hear what he thinks about it because it's becoming a long stretch of failing to execute, especially on some of these kind of 0-2 counts. He's had a really hard time. We saw one go out of the park tonight.
Yeah, I feel like, again, we're just all kind of waiting for that. Where's that double-digit strikeout game, let alone 3K, not even close. 54 pitches, though, as well. Again, just not getting deep into ball games like we're used to either from last year. And again, coming in on a 5-game win streak, they're red hot again. Then you get your number one ace. You're looking at the game preview on paper, number one ace on the mound. You just assume, okay, he's going to keep the momentum rolling for this team. And they end up, winning it, right? They end up winning their 6 in a row. Again, they've won 8 of their last 9. What's the temperature of this team right now? Because they've been very hot and cold so far this season. When it's good, it's great. When it's bad, it's been ugly. So is this new 6-game win streak, is it for real this time? Or do you still need to see it kind of week after week after week before you buy back into this team?
I feel like we're getting to the point in the season where we're getting a true kind of flavor of this team, especially now that some of the A pieces of their lineup are back in the fold, especially with Royce Lewis here. But it's a streaky team this year, that's for sure. But Justin Morneau said it best after the game tonight. He said, as long as the wins are outpacing the losses in those streaks, the team's going to be feeling pretty good. But yeah, it's been very topsy-turvy, that's for sure.
On pace for 90 wins. And I mean, I feel like you'll take that more years than not for
Sure.
sure. Where do you think the Twins rank among like the AL's best right now in your eyes?
It's really hard to gauge. We've seen them totally beat up on most of the teams in the American League, and then we've seen them fall completely flat against Cleveland, against Baltimore, and against New York. So I think if we're taking anything from that, the Twins are kind of exactly where we thought they would be coming into this year. Maybe not in the top echelon of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league necessarily, but probably close there afterwards.
Obviously a huge part of their success, right? The A topic, the fun kind of sexy topic that everybody's talking about right now, Correa and Royce. I mean, the numbers, both these guys, I know Royce went 0 for 5 tonight, but you look at the numbers, both these guys have ripped out the last week and a half or so. I mean, the numbers and stats and analytics, they're out of this world. I'm sure you could bust out a nerdy stat on both these guys later on, but is this the best 1-2 punch since Joe Mauer and Morneau? Like, how far away are we, I guess, from being able to say those 2 names in the same sentence as the M&M boys? Are we close?
Look, I sure hope that we can get to that point. And if they keep performing as they have been, I think we definitely will. But it's just such a short sample size right now, just because they haven't both been in the lineup healthy at the same time, healthy and thriving, especially at the same time, as much as we would hope to see. But I think that they feed off each other. I think they have a great relationship, and we're seeing them both click at the same time here. It's really exciting. And I will add that Byron Buxton seems, I know he had a rough night tonight. I think he went 0 for 4, but over the last couple of weeks, we've seen him kind of take a different approach too, to be an awesome kind of complementary piece to those 2 superstars in the lineup too.
Kepler hit his 6th home run of the year tonight. Last game, he broke the record for most homers at Target Field in Twins history, past Brian Dozier, I believe. That was pretty cool to see. What was just your quick thoughts on, I don't know, not just the record, but kind of like Kepler's legacy, I guess, if you will, as a Minnesota Twin for all these years?
Yeah, it's, I don't want to talk about it like it's in the past, because obviously he's still on the team. There's a chance that he's still brought back in some form or fashion, whether that's an extension, whether that's a qualifying offer at the end of the season. Anyway, his legacy with the team, I think when all is said and done, he's going to be known as one of the, I'd say maybe top 10 to 15 outfielders in franchise history. You got to think he's kind of getting there into that top 10 echelon right now in terms of games played, home runs, a lot of the batting statistics. Helps that he's been mostly pretty healthy throughout his career, and he's had a lot of longevity so far. So hopefully he can keep turning it on and passing some of those milestones as the season goes on here.
Yeah, well said. All right, Lou, Rocco report time. Favorite or least favorite move or decision from today's game? So game 1 versus Tampa, the Rocco report, it says what?
Look, I never want to complain about seeing Yohan Duran pitch, but I did not love the decision to get him up and warming up when Griffin Jacks threw just 5 pitches the inning prior. Luckily with Jack's throwing just 5 pitches. I assume that he would be good to go for tomorrow. Same with Duran. I don't think he got worked too hard tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's not just about the in-game pitches that I'm concerned about. It's about getting warmed up in the rain. I don't love seeing that for a guy that missed the first 5 weeks of the season here. But luckily, it all turned out well. And like I said, I never want to complain about seeing Duran pitch because it's such a show every time.
Yeah, fair enough, though. I could see your argument, though, for sure. I get it there. It's got some good substance to it, for sure. All right, plenty more deep dive from this one, plus nerdy stat of the day. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, this episode brought to you by Game Time, because you should never have to worry when buying tickets to any big event. That's why Game Time, it's the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets to any local event. I'm talking about concerts, comedy shows, sporting events, even Broadway theater. And with killer last-minute deals and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. One of my favorite summer hobbies, heading to Target Field for a Twins game. Last year alone, we went to a handful of Twins games, and Game Time made it so easy every time with just a click of the button. And it gave us that extra peace of mind that we were always getting the best deals possible. So it's time to take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. See for yourself just how easy it is. Create an account. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Again, just create any new account. Redeem your code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time, terms apply. Okay, kind of the A topic, kind of the big news that came out today, last 24 hours or so, we should at least touch on here, the news about Alex Kirilloff, who you look at the splits and the numbers, the stats, the analytics the past month or so. I mean, dude's hitting like 087 in the month of June, something like that. So not great, Bob, but they put him on the 10-day IL, back issues. He came out and admitted apparently that he's been dealing with this for a while now. So what was your reaction to all this? Because I know in the, kind of the conversation here is in the world of professional sports, especially if you're not like a clear-cut top 10%, one of these, blue chip studs, there's a fine line here, Lou, between playing through injury versus like gutting it out for your team, or I should say not being upfront, right? Not being honest to the coaches, not being transparent to the training staff when you're clearly trying to play through something that's having like a big effect on your game. Just what was your reaction to that news?
Yeah, it's disappointing. You want the best for Alex Kirilloff. You want him to be successful. And when it's not going right for him, you want him to be able to go and work things out at AAA, which I think that he's still going to need to do, even once he's back healthy. I think when he gets healthy and off of the injured list, I do think that he's still going to go down to AAA, and he's going to have to get right. The story for Kirilloff has always been when he drives the ball, the harder, he can drive it, the more success he's going to have. And just since maybe the third week in April, he just has not been able to drive the ball with much authority. And the few hits that he has had have been pretty big home runs. So it makes it difficult to send somebody down after they hit a 3-run home run to take the lead or something like that. But he just hasn't had it in the last couple of months, and I think a reset is definitely necessary. Hopefully this back issue is maybe something that has been nagging him, but isn't something that needs to nag him for the rest of the season. Hopefully
there's actually a little bit of relief for me on my end, because like Alex Kirilloff's a good baseball player, point blank, in my opinion. It's not the guy we've seen the last month and change. So it's almost like I have something to like put something into now, as far as like something tangible, be like, okay, clearly this back thing has messed with his swing in a big way. Can't deny that. At this point, it feels like, and easy to say in hindsight too, I guess, but man, just the whole thing kind of put the entire team in a tough spot, right? Again, coaches, training staff, your teammates, when you're not totally transparent about an injury you're trying to play through. So, we'll just have to keep an eye on that as the weeks go on. Who did they call up, by the way? Who took his place, I guess, on the roster?
So that was Austin Martin a few days ago.
Okay.
And so Kirilloff did not report to AAA right away because they're on the road, and I want to say Louisville. So he didn't have to get there right away. And in that time, he disclosed to the team about the injury, it sounds like. And that's how everything shook out.
Fair enough. That makes sense. All right. Nerdy stat of the daytime, Lou. Give us some sort of crazy stat or fun analytic, Twins related, of course. What do you got tonight? Lay it on us.
Sure. I think Joan Duran, like I said earlier, I didn't necessarily want to see him pitch tonight, but I do think that I'm knocking on wood right now, but I'm going to say I think he's back. I think it's the guy that we're all kind of expecting. We saw some big strikeouts tonight. And in the last couple of weeks, he has had a first pitch strike rate of 88%, which is by far the most of any reliever. And that's, that's something you teach kids from day one when they're pitching is you're throwing strikes. You want to get strike one. You need to get that big bump first. So it's really encouraging to see him come in with authority, and most of all, to not see them hitting it out of the ballpark on the first pitch on a curveball that's left up or something like that. So
yeah, you're the expert, not me, but 88% first strikes seems insane in the MLB, because at a certain point when teams know you're throwing first pitch strikes, they're going to start adjusting, I feel like.
Sure.
Start swinging at those first pitches because they know it's going to be a strike 9 out of 10 times. So, yeah, to be that consistent on that first pitch, that speaks volumes in a good way. So that's absolutely outstanding. All right, don't go anywhere. We got to preview Game 2 versus Tampa tomorrow. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members to date. And for me and my money, it's by far the easiest and most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and your favorite players. All you got to do, you pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, and you watch the winnings roll in. Baseball season, obviously, in full swing. So whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, home runs, you name it, they got it. Take your pick on more or less. Add them into your Prize Picks entry today. For example, you could ride the Carlos Correa and Royce Lewis wave. You could hammer the over on pretty much any stat to choose from with those two right now. Plus, Prize Picks now offers Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Okay, Lou, Game 2 tomorrow. Joe Ryan on the mound versus Taj Bradley. Fill us in on that matchup, what the scouting report kind of looks like for these final 2 home games, really, on what was a 10-game homestand at Target Field for the Twins.
Sure. Yeah, I'm really excited to see Joe Ryan go tomorrow. He's been their most consistent and definitely their best starter, it seems like, for basically the whole season now. He absolutely has been pumping strikes. It's been huge. And over the last 2 weeks, he's been absolutely lethal when he gets 2 strikes on his opponents. They have in 0.74 on OPS. So that's best in baseball, and league average is almost 500. So he's got like a fifth of that. That's been pretty bonkers.
Yeah, that's insane, man. Anybody down in the minors or with the Saints ripping it up that's been kind of noteworthy the last week or so? I saw Brooks Lee hit a grand salami tonight or last night, so that was fun. Are we getting closer and closer to seeing him being called up, do you think? Or what's the temperature on him and just the rest of the Twins' top studs down there?
Yeah, boy, it's been so encouraging to see Brooks Lee have these massive hits, and like you said, a grand slam tonight, a bomb to right field. I've seen him hit some from both sides of the plate, which is really encouraging, especially from the left side, because as we know, Kirilloff, Julian, Wallner have all been demoted so far this season. So it'll be huge to have him up here when it happens. I don't think anything is imminent unless there's a major injury to one of the studs in the infield there. But I definitely see Brooks Lee making an impact at some point this season.
You digging those new City Connect jerseys they busted out a little bit more now, or now that you got to see them in action, I guess you're a little bit more comfortable with them, or where are they at? What's the temperature on the new jerseys? You like them?
They're growing on me a little bit.
Me too.
That's for sure. I've always liked the jersey part and the hat part. I love both of those. The pants threw me off, but now that I've seen them playing them a couple times, it's growing on me and I can accept it. I still think white pants would be better for the combo, but I will take it as long as they keep winning.
Fair enough. All right, man. Always fun talking Twins with you. Twins win their 6th in a row tonight in walk-off fashion. They're now 8 games above 500. 2 more with Tampa on deck. Joe Ryan, again, he's on the mound tomorrow. First pitch, another 6:40 p.m. start time on that one. As always, huge shout out to everybody that joined us on the stream. Rest assured, we're going to be back each and every game right here to break it all down. You got to go check out all of Lou's work on X at Sweet Lou MN, plus all the work he's always ripping it up over at zonecoveragemn.com as well. And if it's not too much trouble, as always, go like this video, subscribe to the channel, help us get to 8,000 subscribers. We're so close, and that's always much, much appreciated. All right, that'll do it for us tonight. Sweet Lou Hennesey. I'm Luke Inman on Twitter at Luke_Spinman. We'll see you next time, but until then, signing out.